Okay, this is super exciting. Brand new racing and management game coming out with KT developing, Nacon publishing. I'm here with Alan, lead producer of Endurance Motorsport series. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up or how the team came up with this game where you both drive and you manage? Because it sounds fun, but I'm not aware if people have really done it before kind of successfully.
Yeah, that was the point when we decided to make an endurance game. The starting point is to say we love endurance. We used to go to the 24 hours of Le Mans every year with some people of the team. And we think there's no game on the market that can make the real endurance experience possible. So that was the starting point of the reflection on the game. And the idea is to say in endurance, it's very long races, and you've got up to 3 categories on the track, like GT, LMP2, and hypercars. And you've got 3 drivers per car. So it means it's not just one guy driving a car that wins the race. It's a whole team that makes the job. So the idea is of being a team more than just a driver.
Yeah.
That's how we came to this concept of being able to drive the car and then at any point go back to the pit and have a look on the race and start to work on your strategy, change your strategy.
Yeah.
So in your team you can have up to 3 cars with 3 drivers.
We'll put some footage on screen now because we went with Glickenhaus in the World Endurance Championship round, and we spent time with Jim Glickenhaus and their team when they had the SC007, very nice looking car, and they were up against Porsche and they were up against Ferrari and Toyota, and they had a smaller tent. And then you go down and look at some of the LMP teams, and they have an even smaller tent. And then some of the GT, LM, GTE or GT3, a tiny tent, and the team is very small. And there's only a few mechanics. And when the car crashes, they're working with the radio on. And this is something you don't see on TV when you see the broadcast. But it seems like in your team, you have this passion or understanding. Did you spend time looking at how teams operate and the relationship between the engineer?
Yeah, the game is built as a career, in fact. You don't have a career mode. It's when you are in the game, you are working on your career. So we think it works in endurance. You start little. You have to build your team with people you trust. They will evolve with you, and then being able to become a big team.
So on the game design perspective, it's really interesting because you said you started out from endurance, and you've worked on the original THRUSTMASTER Unlimited, THRUSTMASTER Unlimited 2, all of the WRC games for KT. Like in a lot of those games, you're making your own story. And in sim racing, you're making your own story, right? But I feel like here, the career, like starting small, is a real single player curated experience. I spent some time with Vincent Voss, who founded and runs WRT Hypercar. So they hired Rossi, they hired Kubica, they now run BMW Hypercars for BMW, but they also started with small cars. That's kind of a entrepreneurial gameplay. I want to sit for an evening after work and make progress in my career.
Exactly.
How does that affect how you are structuring the races, the length of the races, the difficulty? Because in this curated, how does that come into it? Where you guide
There's endurance, as the name says, it's long races. So we won't ask people to drive for 24 hours to do a proper race. So what we do is to compress the time. In 24 hours of a race, there will be lots of events.
Accelerated.
But it will, it will be, I would say, compressed to 1 hour. It means when we simulate a 24 hours race, you will get from the morning to the evening, night, and then come back to the morning.
Full cycle.
Full cycle in 1 hour or on 40 minutes. There will happen many things. And you will have the consumption of fuel and of gas and the wear of your tires will be accelerated also. So you have to come back to the pit. So it makes a very intense experience of driving. So that's one of the main things that is makes this endurance experience quite exciting and quite unique.
So the events are going to be very exciting and challenging, right? The rain will come, your car will have a failure, you will need to save fuel to get to your next stint.
Exactly,
So there's already challenge there, difficulty. How then are you going to balance the ability to drive and how difficult the driving is, and also how difficult the management is? Because now you have different areas of difficulty. Let me explain it in another way. you might have someone who plays the game who's a very good sim racer, but you might have someone who plays the game who has just bought the the game controller.
Very important.
How do you balance
very
that?
important
Yeah.
because the game was also think like that. It's I'm not a very good driver, in fact, and I can't really play with friends that are very good drivers because there's so much difference of skill between us that someone will get bored or I will be frustrated to. But in endurance motorsport series, you have the abilities to play with your friends.
Yeah.
It means you come with your car
Okay.
and you're driving with a wheel,
Okay.
and I come with my car and I'm driving with my pad.
Oh,
We can
okay.
meet in the game, we can
Okay.
group in the game,
Yeah.
and then we can decide to go on a track together.
Okay, yeah.
And then you've got your car, I've got my car. We can have another friend.
Okay.
We can be three in the
Same team.
Same team.
Okay,
And
okay.
so maybe you get an hypercar and you make most of the
Okay.
your progression in the
Yeah,
game. And maybe I'm just a beginner,
Yeah.
but we can play together.
Yeah.
And then
And I can help you. I can say the rain's coming. I think you
yeah,
should pit,
yeah.
and I'm on voice
As a
chat.
very good driver, maybe you will love to mainly drive.
Yeah.
And as I'm not a good driver, but I
Yeah.
will drive sometimes.
Yeah.
But spend time in the pits
Yeah.
and to watch what is going on
Yeah.
in the game on
Yeah.
the track and give you advice and build a strategy.
Yeah.
And we can talk together and say, okay, next we will just put some fuel next for the next pit
Yeah.
stop. But we have to change the tires because it's going to rain. So we've got to put the wet
Yeah.
tires. So we build a strategy together.
Yeah.
Then I can drive with my pad on my car or even on your car.
Yeah.
We can switch roles like
Okay.
that. And then if we win the race or get a good success in the race,
Yeah.
something we make together.
Yeah.
You as a good driver or me as a bad driver,
Yeah.
but we won together. And I think it's very satisfying experience.
It sounds something that's going to be great to play with your brothers or your sisters or your friends like that. Let me tell you a little experience that I have. So I have a YouTube channel. I stream racing, okay? And sometimes I stream in virtual reality,
Okay.
okay? So I was actually at Spa doing a 1 hour race in virtual reality, and I turned off all of the HUD. So there's no HUD, even the lap counts and the positions. So I can't see anything. And then my stream, my chat, the people watching are in the chat saying,
Okay.
the rain is coming,
All
you're
right.
P3, and that is text-to-speech, so it's playing in my headset. So we have these whole races where I'm getting, the pit wall is all of the chats.
Okay.
And
yeah.
what that means is people who don't have I have an expensive racing setup, very nice. People who don't have that, or people who don't even have the game, or people who are just starting out but just want to input, it takes away the pressure of feeling bad driving. That
Exactly.
is the biggest barrier in sim racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it
This
feels
is
like you're doing
this
that.
kind of video that I saw on YouTube, for example, that there's a very good driver driving, and there's one of his friends that just is telling him what is going on
Yeah.
the game, on the track,
Yeah.
where are the opponents and so
Yeah.
on. So we should be able to play the game like this.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to do with endurance.
This is why I find this game so interesting. And some other things I've seen is like there's some people who are very good at creating liveries. They're very good at creating liveries, and they're not rewarded in any way. There's some people that are very good at taking photos, and they're not rewarded in any way. But racing, like you say, the team will have the PR person who will be helping the driver do the interviews. They'll have their photographer, they'll have the mechanics, and it all comes together, and the team really wins. And you will have seen it at endurance racing. And I feel like that's an incredible story to tell. So just a couple more questions. You've been very generous with time. I feel like scenarios are going to be very important in this game, like a custom scenario where it's a situation where it has been curated that something may happen, right? So on lap 3, one of your cars is going to have a big problem and you need to save it.
That's not the way we are making the game. It's more about a systemic, what we call systemic is if you
naturally
go
developing.
you go off track or you you hit another car and stuff like that. There's a big probability that it will happen something to you. If you drive very well.
Emergent. It's emergent.
Yeah, exactly. Game design, we say systemic. It means something will happen, but according to what you make in the race. So we will push to have always something happening, but it's not scripted. It's not at this turn, at this moment, you will get.
I thought that could be an avenue you go down, but actually, if you have the confidence that it's going to be emergent and it's going to be more authentic, then for the player, that I really overcame this. And just finally, can you explain a little bit more about the career, right? So we're going to start with a small team and car.
A small team, so you have to recruit to hire your first drivers, because it's 3 drivers per car. First engineer and first mechanics. Mechanics is like a whole team that will change your tires and at the pit stop, and then you do your races. So one team has a cost, so you have limitation on terms of cost. So it's like in real competition, you will start with bronze people, and then silver people, gold people, platinum people.
So you might save
but
up
they are
for
more
platinum.
expensive, but they are better. And when you do races, every people that do races in your team with you will have a progression, so they will get better and better. So it means when you are someone at the beginning of the game, you have a kind of
affinity connection with them.
And then at some point you can hire new people. But the people that you already have in your team also have increased their skills. So you will have to make a choice that I keep the people that I'm working on with from the start, or get new people. So it's this feeling of working with a team is very important.
And just very finally, because I think we are missing good single-player experiences in racing. Personally, I feel like everyone has really looked for online kind of, but this sounds very kind of an enjoyable single-player experience. What about the end game? What about when you have 3 hypercars, or you have a hypercar G3 all platinum? How do you satisfy players?
You have a lot of competition in the challenges, and you unlock tracks and new challenges and championship. It will be quite long to get to the ultimate championship with the ultimate cars, but then you will get something that is never the same. Is that at any point you can group with one of your friends that is playing with you, and group in the game. And when you go on a track, your friend can come with you. I mean, if you are in the top championship with 100 of hours of play, and one of your friends with some hours of playing come with you, he can come with you on a track that he doesn't have unlocked, and he can enjoy the game with you. So he will be in your team, and you will be able to switch with his cars and your cars, and give him advice. So it will never be the same way you do a track. And then you will get the online aspect with online competition, with team of people against team of people.
How many are we talking, would you hope for, in terms of how many team slots are available in a race?
Our teams are up to 3 people, 3 drivers, 3 cars. And then you've got, I would say, the limitation will be a technical limitation. It will be something about 20-25 cars on the road.
Wow. So that's a big field. Lots of chaos. Lots of yellow flags.
Lots of chaos, but you will get also a system, of
ranking.
Ranked. So we try to regroup the people of the same fair play level and stuff like that.
I'm personally really interested to see the very high-ranked teams, and if they're going to be working like teams in real life and making the calls right. And it could be, again, for us on YouTube, very interesting to broadcast.
I think the experience we can get in this game with this kind of game mechanics, is quite unique. So, and it can some very, very new and very exciting experience can emerge from the game.
I'm really, really excited. So best of luck, and thanks so much for your time, Alan.
Thank you very much.
For doing something unique as well. Like Test Drive Unlimited back in the day was a very exciing, unique game, and this feels like
it's quite difficult to think about innovation in racing racing games, but that's what we're trying to do all the time.
Amazing. Thank you so much.